First, I'd love to get a little bit of background of just what Mantle is, but you guys
Sure.
have a treasury of $2.4 billion. That includes 260,000
Right.
ETH. And then that doesn't even count. You guys just launched Mantle, the token, which I think was like another 1.4 billion or whatever that is. Where the heck did you guys get all this? Maybe walk us through the story a little bit of Mantle and how you guys accumulated this many assets. It's wild.
Oh. So actually the story starts back in, actually during my Polygon days, right? It's back in 2020, 2021. What we saw was the Binance Smart Chain. Binance had sort of launched Binance Smart Chain. They started building out in earnest, the first foray into, you could say, building a decentralized community. And Binance Smart Chain was super successful. That model of an exchange and a chain working together kind of proved its value, which is very interesting because later you saw FTX Solana try like a similar kind of a building theory, but obviously, that things went a little different there. But so Binance Smart Chain was very successful. And then what happened is that every exchange, was like, hey, this is what we should be doing. And then we saw Kobe tried their own chain, OKX tried their own chain. So you had the founders of Bybit. So Bybit was, again, one of the largest sort of exchanges in the space, mainly focused on sort of, you could say, investors. So it was mostly a derivatives, sort of an exchange. It had a pretty, I would say, healthy spot volume, but the focus was mostly on derivatives, options, trading. So there was a lot of pressure on the founders of Bybit as well from their community saying that, hey, where is our chain? Everyone has a chain, we should be building a chain. And that's kind of when the founders of Bybit took like this very interesting approach, right? So instead of trying to build a chain, what they decided is, okay, let's take our resources and let's build a DAO. We'll build a DAO. And then the DAO can decide whatever it wants to do. The DAO wants to build a chain, they want to build this, that. That's the DAO's decision. But from our side, let's try to do this in the most decentralized way possible. And this is kind of when they decided that, okay, let's build this DAO. This DAO should have its own token so that we can have governance, voting, etc. What Bybit also did is that they took, I think, about 2.5 BPS of their volume, of their daily volume, right? And started plugging that back into the BitDAO treasury so that there is a treasury for the DAO to, sort of draw upon. And obviously during the bull cycle, being a derivatives exchange on a daily basis, they were doing huge volumes. So all of those resources kept like sort of flowing into the DAO treasury. And after a while, of course, Bybit like stopped doing that. And then the treasury, reached a size where it became, let's say in some sense, where there was high confidence that this could lead to multiple self-sustaining businesses, as long as the DAO made the right decisions. So the DAO kind of started as an investment DAO. They invested in Game 7, it invested in EduDAO. So there were like many focus areas. So one focus area was gaming, where they made investments in Game 7 with the idea that, gaming has the ability to bring in like a huge number of users into Web3. So we should do that. They invested in EduDAO, which is focused on, research and education, because if you want to take the space forward, we need to do that as well. And then I would say this was about last year, if I'm not wrong, July, August, or June, actually, when a proposal was put onto the DAO, which, hey, why don't we build a chain? And then the community started discussing that, okay, if you want to build infrastructure, like what should it look like? And why should we build it? So there was a long series of discussions, after which a proposal was put through and it was passed. And that's literally how Mantle was born. The Mantle chain, this whole team we see, all of these resources which we have, all of them have come from the DAO. And the chain was literally born out of a DAO board. So we're very decentralized from the day zero. And since we were born out of a community action, right from day zero, we've had a very large community to back us. And this is when, once the vote was passed, then there was another proposal for, let's say, all the resources we need to get through the testnet phase. And then once we go into mainnet, we'll get these other, like, let's say, extra resources to, sort of build out during the mainnet phase. All of the resources came from the DAO, proposals were passed, folks like me joined the team. That is literally, the story of Mantle. So
sorry about that. It's super interesting. I didn't realize it came from Bybit. I had no idea about that. The DAO, though, any idea how many members are in there? And like, did they all just come from like they were just ex-users or current users of Bybit, or like how did that DAO get built out?
It's a pretty big mix, actually. So when I see it, the DAO has equal parts traders, equal parts funds, and equal parts, let's say, community members who want to take part in governance. I think to last count, we probably have anywhere from 25 to 30,000 members or bit holders who've been participating in governance. You can go to mantle.xyz, go to governance, see our forums, right? And you'll see like all the different proposals. Again, through Mantle, we'll have the ability to further expand the community. So as we can keep giving out grants, as we do like other investments in the space, etc., we'll be able to put MNT, with the token in the hands of more people. And over a period of time, continue to decentralize the DAO. A lot of the MNT funds are held by the treasury. So we also have this delegation tool where if you go to, again, mantle.xyz, go to governance, you can go to delegation. And then, what we plan to do over a period of time is delegate votes out there to, let's say, pillars of the community, to hackathon winners, so that good builders, good people are part of the governance process, and that we're able to take better and better decisions in the time to come. So that's kind of how we planned sort of ecosystem building, DAO building, and to ensure that that we follow the ethos of how the chain was born, which is we always focus on being community owned, community led, and community governed. So this is kind of how we are designing like our processes internally.